Welcome to Onwards and Upwards, everything a global nurse needs to know to live and work in the United States. I am your host, Luciana Da Silva. We have a fantastic show planned for you today. Coming up, we're going to check in with Deirdre O'Regan with Dream Jobs with Dee. It's also Independence Day next week. Let's learn how Americans celebrate. And of course, we'll round out with our clinical corner with Holly. If you would like to become a nurse, live and work in the United States, and achieve your American dream, be sure to go to our website at amnhealthcare.com/international. Apply now. Our recruiters are waiting for your application so that they can contact you and you can get started on your journey. Let's start off now with our Dream Jobs with Dee. Take it away, Deirdre.
Hi, Lucy. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thank you so much for joining us today. Excited for this segment. Always enjoy it. Love seeing where everybody is calling in from. So I can see Prudent from United Arab Emirates. Welcome, welcome. Jakir from Bangladesh. Wow. So we've got representation from around the globe. So thank you so much. So for the last number of months, we've presented many wonderful opportunities across the US. Quick reminder, I know you all know, but AMN International is the only agency that does provide both direct hire and staffing opportunities. So you may already have decided where your perfect opportunity is going to be. So today we want to focus on how do you land that dream job? So let's start with top 5 things that you should do before you go into an interview with your hiring leader. Do your research. And by that, I mean, do your research on the location where the hospital is located. Any awards, recognitions that the hospital has achieved, you'll want to be able to talk about that. And that will definitely impress your hiring leader. Dress professionally, goes without saying, but you want to put your best foot forward, represent professionally, interview in a quiet location, and use a background if necessary. So, you do want to make it as personal as possible. So when you're interviewing in person, you're probably going to be in a nurse manager's office, etc. So you want to present a location like that. Be specific in your answers. So by that, I mean, use actual examples of times when you have done certain things that the hiring leader is asking you about, right? So a question may be, when was the last time you participated in a resuscitation and what was your role? So be very specific, and that's going to highlight your experience. Maybe something very, very normal to you, but sit up straight. When you sit up straight, you articulate better, your voice inflection gets better, and that will be a great representation as well. So they may be very obvious, or they may be just quick reminders for you, but those are things that you should certainly consider before you go into any interview that you are scheduled for or that you are hoping to schedule soon. So what should your application look like? How is your application going to stand out? So you want to make sure that you are highlighting any certifications that you have. Make sure that it's front and center, that you have passed your NCLEX exam. What English exam did you take, and what were your scores? So make sure that all of that relevant information is front and center in your application. You also want to make sure that you're highlighting what degree you have. If you have a bachelor's, if you have a master's, make sure that that is front and center in your application as well. You want to, again, put your best foot forward, highlight your attributes, and make sure that that's the first thing that the hiring leader will see when they review your application. So let's go to things that you should not do as you are interviewing with your hiring leaders. So if we can pull up that slide, we've got some fun pictures of what you should not do. So again, these may be very, very obvious, but sometimes, we don't really pay attention to what's going on around us, and that can be distracting for the hiring leader as well as yourself. So I mentioned background. Don't underestimate the power of a background. So you can see here one of our colleagues probably didn't check that there was clutter in the background. You've got another team member behind. So make sure that you are checking that. And if you need to put a virtual background on, do that as well. Goes without saying, no eating when you are in an interview. You wouldn't do that in person. So you want to make sure that you're not doing that on camera as well. Again, this is a funny one, but please make sure that you're not in bed, right? So you want to be in a professional environment. If you don't have an office at home, that's okay, but just make sure that you are in a quiet and professional setting. Have your camera adjusted just where we can see all of you. Your hiring leader wants to see your face, not just the top of your head. So we want to be sure that your camera is set appropriately. Do a little practice run to make sure that maybe you want to call a colleague, call a friend, and make sure that your camera is set appropriately so that we can see all of you. Don't check your cell phone. So my advice would be do not even have it in your location, because it beeps, you get distracted. We're all on social media these days. You get Facebook notifications, whatever that may look like. So please make sure that your phone is not near you so that that's not a distraction for you as well. Again, be in a quiet environment. If you have pets, please don't have them in the room with you when you are interviewing. You know, there may be a knock at your door, and we all know that pets like to greet our delivery drivers. And so that may be a distraction as well. And again, don't get distracted when you see yourself on camera. You want to make sure that you are 100% focused on the questions that the hiring leader is asking you. Be engaging, use body language, but don't get distracted by seeing yourself on the screen. Okay, so let's go on to what should be in your resume. All right, so your resume is for your professional experience only. So you want to highlight your professional experience as a nurse, as a medical technologist, and you want to make sure that that is front and center for when the hiring leader is looking at that resume. They're able to quickly identify the skills that you have and if they're going to apply to the position. Of course, you want to make sure your contact information is accurate. Your email is spelled correctly, and your phone number, right? So that is how your hiring leader is going to get in contact with you. Make sure your licenses and certifications are highlighted on your resume as well as your education. So your education will be from secondary school all the way through college, nursing school, any community service or volunteerism that you have participated in. Hiring leaders love to see that. So make sure that you are highlighting that as well. And again, any honors or awards that you have received. Do not include on your resume things of a personal nature, right? So you can talk about your hobbies during the interview. Once we get through the technical questions, then the hiring leader wants to get to know you as a person as well. So talk about what you like to do outside of work in the interview. So don't put things like height or weight or age. It really is just for that professional experience and your education. All right. So hopefully those things helped you as you prepare for your interview with your dream job here in the United States. Again, a lot of it is going to be just reminders for you, but interviewing can be nerve-wracking. It can be very, very nerve-wracking. And so we want to make sure that you are prepared to put your best foot forward and make sure that you land that dream job. Before I leave you, I do want to put a reminder out there. If you are an international nursing student on an F1 here in the US, we have got opportunities for you. So we want to hear from you. If you are upcoming graduate, if you have recently graduated, then we do have opportunities for you. So please reach out to us. Again, apply AMN AMN Healthcare /international, excuse me. And our recruiters are on hand waiting to speak to you, but we have opportunities for you. So please reach out to us. So again, we've talked about landing your dream job in the US. We want to share with you some recent arrivals who have arrived here in the US and are starting to live their American dream. It could be you next. So please make sure that you are applying to us today. Our expert recruiters are excited to speak to you. And until next time, dream big, dream smart, and choose AMN International.
Okay, I'm dancing now. That was really fun. I love seeing the new arrivals. Thank you so much, Deirdre. And of course, always follow us on Facebook, on Instagram. We keep you updated on the latest opportunities so that you can apply and start your American dream, just like Deirdre said. Of course, we have a lot of people here saying hello in the chat. Please let us know where you're from. We have Prudence, who's from the UAE. Jakir saying good day from Bangladesh. Fomal is from Bangladesh. Mildred, good afternoon from Dubai. Monica from Kenya. Legaspi from the city of Philippines. That's Odette. Jenlin is from the UK. Jane from Kenya. We got Minu from Qatar. People from all over the world watching. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Let's get to the next segment of our show. We're going to be talking about Independence Day. Don't I look like Madam President here? It's very, very exciting. So we have some guests that are joining us that are going to be telling us all about the United States and how we celebrate our Independence Day. Let's bring on our guest panel. Hello, Nicola, Mark, Johnny. How are you doing today?
Good. How are you?
Good, good. Let's start with some introductions here. Jeroni, do you want to go first?
Oh, yeah, sure. Hi, everybody. How are you? I'm Journey Liat. I am an RN here in Bismarck. I'm working at Sanford Medical as a postpartum RN.
Thank you so much. Welcome to you. Nicola, please introduce yourself to our audience.
Hi, everyone. My name is Nicola. Everyone just calls me Nikki. I am a brand manager for Amen Healthcare located here in San Diego and from Germany originally.
Where in Germany are you from?
I'm from Berlin, Germany.
That's a really fun city. Welcome to the show. Mark, please introduce yourself to our audience.
Hello, good day, everybody. My name is Mark Pablo. I'm an onboarding specialist from Connetics AMN, and I'm based in the Sunshine State of Florida. I originally came from the Philippines, and I'm here onboarding nurses that are coming in internationally.
Thank you all so much for joining. Before we get into the questions, we are going to be talking about experiences in the United States for Independence Day. We do have photo contests. Right now, we are running a photo contest. It's called the Red, White, and Blue. $100 for first prize, $75 for second prize, and $50 for third prize. Please go to our website, submit your photos. We want to see American flags, barbecues, red, white, and blue, all over the place. So let's take a look at the photo contest and our entries so far in a video that we have coming up. Well, I guess something's wrong with the video, so let's go ahead and get into the interview right now, and we'll show you the video a little bit later on in the show. Jeroni, tell us about your journey to the United States.
Oh, yeah, sure. Well, honestly, I'm excited with it will be my first 4th of July experience this coming July. We came here in the US last year, and it's actually my birthday when we came. It was the 12th of July, and it was a surreal experience. It was very special because I got reunited with my family who are living here. Well, they're actually living in Las Vegas. So we met them there, and we haven't seen each other for 7 years before that. So it was really a very special moment for us to be reunited. And that's why I am so thankful to Kinetics, to AMN, and of course for my employer, Sanford Health, for making that possible. And now I'm in Bismarck working for Sanford Health, which I am very proud of. And everything has been doing so well. So well with my family. My kids have adapted here, adjusted with life here very well. It's a beautiful place. It's very peaceful with very nice people are here living here. So we couldn't ask for more. So yeah, it's been great. It's been a great year.
Wonderful. A lot of people say that the first year can be the most difficult, but it seems like you're just sailing through.
Yeah, honestly, no. Probably the first few months, of course, adjusting, but it wasn't hard. On it, and this place, this market didn't. It wasn't hard to adapt in here, honestly, because people are so nice here.
That's so wonderful to hear. Thank you so much for sharing your journey with our audience. Nicola, tell us about your journey to the United States from Berlin.
Yeah, so I moved here 8 years ago, which is crazy. It's already been so long. It was always my dream to, at least temporarily, originally was just the idea to temporarily live in the United States and then eventually go back home because that's where my family still is. So everyone is still in Berlin. But yeah, I fell in love with the city, everything here in San Diego. San Diego is like one, in my opinion, one of the best cities to live in. So I agree. Like I think it took a couple of months to adjust a little bit, but I was already familiar with the culture. I always loved it. Was one of the reasons why I wanted to come here because I love the culture, the American culture, the friendliness and openness, which is a little bit different than what we're like in Germany. And so yes, it took a couple of months, I feel like, to adjust, but I also think it was very easy. Because everyone is so friendly and open and it's easy to make friends. So yeah, that's kind of like, that's how I came here. And then I started with AIM and healthcare shortly after. So yeah, it's kind of been my journey here.
What a wonderful story right there. I'm hearing a theme right now that Americans are welcoming, very, very nice. Mark, tell us about your journey. Mark is no stranger to this show, by the way, joining once again.
Yeah. Good morning. Hello, everybody. So, um, we arrived here 2050, the year 2015, and sad to say, we're the one of the victims of the longest retrogression. So we were supposed to be here in 2007, but due to the retro, we were able to arrive here on 2015. So the first few, as what Jordan was telling, the first few months was really struggling because we came we were here also in Florida, but we didn't inside of Florida. But right now we moved to near Tampa, where we like it because people here in the U.S. are so friendly. It's easy to adjust, even though I like the weather here because it's the same as in the Philippines. It's a little bit tropical. It's not. We have colds, but the summer here and the beaches are the one that's, and the theme parks are the perks living in this state. So yeah, celebrating 4th of July is like celebrating also New Year. Uh, I've attended a lot of July 4 parties when living here in the US.
July 4th parties. So let's start having a little bit of fun. We have a quiz. Audience, join in. Please put your answers in the chat. This is really, really fun. Our panel, quiet. We'll let you guys give the answer in the end. Question number 1. What date did the United States gain independence from Great Britain? Put your answers in the chat. Is it A, November 27th, 1865, B, December 25th, 1778, C, July 4th, 1776, D, June 14th, 1845? We have Yami who is saying Letter C. Shireen is saying letter C. Panel, what is the answer?
C.
C.
Okay.
C, that's correct. Wonderful. Mildred also got it. So did Jacqueline and Monica. Well done. Yes, answer C, 4th of July, which is what we are celebrating next week. Okay, question number 2. Let's take a look. Which U.S. city is known as the Big Apple? Is it A, California, B, Florida, C, New York, or D, Texas? Let's see what our guests are saying right here. We have Maureen who is saying letter C. JH is also saying letter C. Shireen, C. Wow, we have a lot of people guessing C, as well as Jacqueline and Marvel. Guests, which one is the correct answer?
Letter
C. New
C.
York.
New York.
C, wonderful. Our guests are doing great. Our audience is doing great. The Big Apple, New York. Come take a bite of the Big Apple. We actually have positions available at New York Presbyterian, so apply now. Next question, let's take a look. Which president is featured on the U.S. $100 bill? You really, really like to see this guy in front of you, maybe multiple times. So is it A, Benjamin Franklin? Is it B, Abraham Lincoln? C, Martin Luther King Jr.? Or D, George Washington? All right, audience, let's see the answers coming in here. JH is saying B, Jacqueline is saying A, Marvel is saying A. We also have Jessica who's saying A, Monica A. Seems like we have mixed answers here. Salma is saying B, Arlene is saying B. Guest panel, do you know the answer?
As the saying goes, show me the Benjamins.
Right, exactly. Show me the Benjamins. Benjamin Franklin, one of the founding fathers here in the United States back in 1776. Wonderful job, everybody. Thank you so much for playing. We have another quiz later on in the show, so sit tight. We're going to keep playing here. Next question for our guest panel. I want to start with you, Journey. What was it like working with AMN Healthcare International on your journey for the recruitment process and your arrival? Tell us about it.
Well, honestly, American Dream is was really one of my dreams, and I thought it was impossible when suddenly I came in with this opportunity. I think it's just from my friend that told me about it, and then it was I didn't believe it at first that I will be recruited for the U.S. And then suddenly I was scheduled for an interview, and then everything went from there. It was a quick process, honestly. Well, quick meaning that it was quicker than I expected. I thought it will take years before getting here, but it's just a year that took me to get that process to be completed. And it's especially because I also have my family with me. That's the most important part, because I think it will be a different story if I'm not gonna go with my family. But yeah, everything, the process was smooth. They are very accommodating. You can call them anytime for questions or assistance if you need it. So yeah, I loved working with AMN Kinetics. It was a quick process.
That's so wonderful to hear. And audience, listen to what she said. She brought her entire family here
I
with
did.
her to the United States. That's the beautiful thing about AMN Healthcare International, right? We
Yes.
get your family green cards and you green cards. This isn't just something temporary here. You come with your family, you start your life. Isn't that right, Jeroni?
Yes, definitely.
That's wonderful, wonderful to hear. Nicola, tell us a little bit about your work with AMN Healthcare. Also, as an employee, you're part of the team. What's it like working with this company? Because whenever nurses join, you're also part of it.
Yeah. So I started with AMN. I think I mentioned it a long time ago. A recruiter from AMN actually reached out to me, but for me it was obviously different because I was already in the United States. Um, but it's been a ride with AMN. There's always something. I mean, I think same like with the nurses, right? Like there's always something going on, always something new. Like I feel like every day it's something different. There might be a strike somewhere. There's always, I think at Amen, I think the unique thing is that we have so many different there's so many different services that we offer, and therefore like every week, every day is a little bit different. But I love the team. I think that's really what makes it at AMN is the team and all the team members, everyone you work with. Everyone is super friendly, everyone is super helpful, everyone is always making sure to help out everyone. So even I remember during COVID when basically everyone just started like offering, okay, we're going to be on the phone, we're going to be supporting our nurses. So I think it's just like it's really the team at AMN that makes it here.
Absolutely. And like I said earlier, whenever you apply to become a nurse with AMN, you are a part of this family, a part of this team that we have. Mark, I absolutely love your story, how you came to the United States and how you started working with AMN. It's really, really great. Please share it with the audience.
Okay, so uh, to give an idea, I'm also a nurse, but I wasn't able to practice it. My wife is the nurse, so when I was here, I was doing I tried all types of job, literally all types of jobs. So before I was doing onboarding, um, I was doing like a BPO case management style, and I have a neighbor here who works at AMN International, and he told me, uh, "Mark, are you interested to work as an onboarder?" And I said, "What's that?" And he told me it's like you're trying to help people coming here, nurses that will be transitioning from their home country going here in the US. So I said, okay, I'll try it. When I was started working, first I was so overwhelmed that I don't know what to do because I was given a lot of nurses and all of them from different countries internationally, and the I was giving them what to do when they come here. As time goes by, and I was getting the hang of it, and I feel this is one of the best jobs. I think even sometimes there are challenges and stress, but it's a good feeling trying to help one person, especially nurses with their families or even individually when they come here. You try to guide them and tell them the transition phase so that they don't get overwhelmed. And when you see as time goes by, when they start working, adjusting, seeing them buying their cars, moving into their apartments, and some of them also buying homes and their kids going to school. So that's the fulfilling for me because I feel that I pay it forward, helping them, telling them what to do. And as in fact, I have already onboarded more than 400 more nurses already, and most of them are already doing good and living their American dream.
And that's why I love this story, Mark, because Mark came here as a spouse. And it's not always easy to come to the United States as a spouse with your nurse husband or wife, right? You are along for the journey. And it's very, very different from you, but it's a big, big piece of the puzzle, which is why we support it. And as Mark said, you work with the onboarding team, which means that you prepare the nurses whenever they're arriving in the United States. And it just shows that at AMN Healthcare International, we do the full circle, right? We don't just leave you hanging right after immigration, right? We help you come here and settle and support you throughout that whole process. Now, I want to go back to Jeroni. Let's talk about living in the United States. Tell us about your city. You're at Bismarck. Let us know about it. What's it like?
Well, Bismarck is just a small city, honestly. But just as I said a while ago, it's a very beautiful city. It is small, it's quaint, but the nature it's all over beautiful. We have four seasons here. The fall was special. It's very beautiful, and now we're experiencing spring. Oh, summer now, but we just had experienced spring, which is was all also very beautiful, overwhelming. Um, and we love to me and my family, we love to do road trips outside of the city. We've been to South Dakota. We've also reached Canada in Winnipeg, and other neighboring cities here. So everything was really, I can't even explain how I feel, because it was wonderful. Our experience here has been amazing. I think my family has been closer than ever to each other. We've also met some new friends who are also, experiencing the new life here. People, I've been saying this over and over, but they really are very nice, friendly people. They will help you. A lot of people helped us with transitioning, with finding schools for my daughters. So it was, I really can't complain of anything. And my employer too was very nice. And yeah, there of course there will be challenges with the usual, the bills thing, but hard work and helping my husband and I, helping each other out, um we can always make it. And yeah,
How old are your
that's
kids?
oh, I have two kids. They're 12 and 7.
Wow. So those are ages that it really does impact them because they have to leave
Yeah,
school, then come to the United States and
yeah.
start school. Do you think that process, is that what brought you all closer together?
Yeah, I think so too. But you know what? My children are also, they're familiar with the American culture. Also because my family, when they visit from the US, and friends, and probably what they also see in with what they watch in social media, or in, I don't know, YouTube, what you call it. So they adjusted more quickly than we did. And they speak English too very well than we do. So it wasn't so hard for them, and they embraced the culture here very well. They made more friends than than they did in the Philippines, and yeah, they loved how they were able to explore things, and things that are very different from the Philippines, of course. So yeah, they've been enjoying everything, all their experiences here.
Kids are so resilient and their
They
brains are like
are.
sponges, right? Like they
Mhm.
can learn languages just so much faster than
I
adults. Like,
know, I
isn't it
know.
crazy how that works?
Yeah. They speak better English than we do.
Well, we are getting some questions here in the chat. And please, audience, keep asking our panel questions. These are these experts. These are the individuals that are living the American dream. So this is your chance to ask any question that you want. So Alex is asking, what is an F1 visa? Can we be qualified if we already have an EB3 application? The answer is apply now, and our recruiters, our lawyers will help you with that process and steer you in the right direction on which visa you need in order to come to the United States and which one will get you here faster. So make sure to go to amnhealthcare.com/international and we can answer that question from you. Nikki, I know that you are living in California. What's California like?
It's very sunny. That was one of the reasons why I wanted to come here to San Diego, because that's definitely what Germany's not. And I love, so I didn't specifically honestly pick San Diego. It just so happened Amen Healthcare has a headquarter here as well. So it all worked out. But back then they had a headquarter. Now we don't anymore. But that's why originally San Diego made sense for me. But what I really love about, I think I would say California overall, but I think especially San Diego, is it's very outdoorsy. So it's like you have just so many opportunities to be outside. Not just because it's sunny, but also like there's just so much hiking opportunities around here. There's so much nature around here, which I think is not something you like right away think of when you think of San Diego. You probably think of the beaches, which is obviously a big plus as well. But it's like a lot. I love that San Diego it is so diverse. You have the beach really close. In winter, you actually have the mountains really close to go snowboarding. I love snowboarding as well. And then again, you have the hiking opportunities. So actually, in the last couple of years, I adopted 2 dogs. So I like to take them hiking. Not always in summer because it can get really hot inland where the hiking spots are. But it's just really the diverse things that you can do here. I've never played volleyball before I came to San Diego, but then being here by the beach, it's kind of like also how I made friends. I just started playing beach volleyball. And so now I'm like the biggest, like I'm so passionate about beach volleyball. Anyone who knows me knows like I play volleyball and that's what I love to do. So it's really just the things like the outdoors, everything that you have here in San Diego is just like, it's just well-rounded. I think it made me like just get into sports a lot more too. Like, so I started playing softball. Just in Germany, we're not that much into baseball, softball, and just like coming here, seeing that, I was like, all right, I'll try it out. So I feel like at this point, I tried out every single sport there is here in the United States, and what it offers. And then also, I think San Diego, but also a lot of other cities here in San Diego, here in the United States, offer a lot of adult sports leagues. And so I think it's very easy, or it's easier to make friends here in the United States because just like all these opportunities that you have here.
That is so true. The main thing is you want to make friends. You want to have a social circle. You want to have a community, and you cannot be scared to try new things.
Yeah.
And that's all part of it. That's all part of the fun. We have a few more questions coming into the chat. So please put your questions in, even about recruitment and immigration. Deirdre is actually working the chat. She's answering the question. So the answer to the F1 visa, it's a student visa. Now, Liam is asking how to apply to be an international nursing student. Please apply on our website if you are a nurse. If you've passed your NCLEX, that is the goal. That is the golden ticket right there. If you've passed your NCLEX, we can get you started with the visa process, with getting all of your licensing together. So amnhealthcare.com/international. Mark, tell us about your first Independence Day. What was that like?
Since we were in a laid back town during that time, but usually when I know in the Philippines, I already know what, because I used to watch movies a lot. So I see the fireworks, and in the Philippines we also use fireworks, and the fireworks there are more explosive than here. But during our time, our first July 4 experience is we went to Orlando and we watched the fireworks show in Disney. So that's why when we were there, I said, "Wow, this is how they celebrate the July 4 independence here." So, and after that, moving forward, every time we go, most of the Filipinos here also do parties. So but in my first, that's as I said, I went to the Disney. So we were there to experience the fireworks display at Magic Kingdom. So it was awesome.
You watched a fireworks display for the 4th of July at the happiest place on earth. Is that right?
Yeah.
Which is in the United States. Well, originally, now we have them all over the world. But that sounds amazing. Yes, it's all about the fireworks, all about the magic. Joni, we know that you just came last year. Like Mark was saying, you look in the movies, you have these thoughts and expectations about the 4th of July. Is this going to be your first 4th of July? And what do you expect?
Well, it will be special because I'll be celebrating. This is the first holiday that we will be celebrating together with my family, and we'll be visiting them in Vegas. So we'll be celebrating together. Well, I've heard a lot of how, because my family has been here for years, so they talk about how they spend the Fourth of July, and so we're planning our own now. With they're planning the Fourth of July now with us here. We're going to watch some fireworks in Vegas, and then we're gonna do some barbecue at the backyard. Some people do some picnics at the park, which is, I think, really great because you see other people celebrating. So it's like basically a community celebrating together, and a lot of family gatherings. And I think other it's for different states, they do, or cities, they have their own celebrations. Like here in Bismarck, or in Mandan, the city that is near Bismarck, they're gonna do a big parade. There's gonna be horses. They're more laid back here, more traditional celebration, and they're more closer to their roots. So yeah, I think they're gonna do that here. So it's different for every city or for every state, I think. But basically, family gatherings or community gatherings, being with friends, close friends, being with family, is, I think, is the gist of it. So yeah, celebrating together.
Little tip for you: wear red, white, and blue.
Oh
For
yeah,
American
yeah.
flag t-shirts. People really, really get into it.
And
It's
I
our
think we're
American
gonna do
culture.
the family shirts,
Oh, so cute.
winnings.
We'll make sure to submit it for our photo contest, and then we
Will
can have we can
do.
send you photos from everywhere. We want to
So
definitely see what your
excited.
4th of July.
Yeah.
That sounds wonderful. Nikki, what was your first 4th of July like? Did it meet
Yeah.
your expectations?
Yeah, for sure. It was I spent my very first 4th of July. I spent it with friends at the beach, which is like very typical here in San Diego. I think 4th of July is like definitely one of the days where the beaches are just like super crowded. Everyone is exactly at the beach. Lots of volleyball. That's also how I got into volleyball. So like usually we do try to set up some nets and play a little bit of volleyball, although it's difficult because the beaches are just like everyone just goes to the beach during the day. And then at night, as everyone already mentioned, you want to see the fireworks. So it's kind of like during the day you go to the beach, spend it with your friends and your family, and then at night you come back to the beach to watch the fireworks. Either at the bay, downtown, there's multiple spots where they have fireworks. So there's no way you're going to miss it.
And those fireworks right there that you just saw in that video, that is San Diego Bay. Cities have fireworks all over the place. It's not like just in one little spot. Is that right, Mark?
Yep. Even communities, like big communities, they do also do this was taken last year in our community, that's one of our residents, but there are a lot of people here celebrate fireworks also by setting up a fireworks party in communities aside from cities that are do as what Jorani tell the parades. It's normal. This was taken last year. I was doing a little bit fireworks also.
That looks dangerous. That looks a little dangerous there, Mark.
No, it's a sparkler.
And you have to twirl them like this, right? As you sing the national anthem.
Yep.
So you do your own fireworks in your driveway. Well, you have to look at the city ordinances. Some allow you to do that, some don't. But you can do your own personal family. You can do your neighborhood. You can do the big city. Some cities have drone shows now instead of fireworks. So it's all getting really, really interesting. Just shifting a little bit, I want to go back to the chat. We have a few questions coming in now. Shireen is saying, Kinetics RN here. Kinetics is part of AMN Healthcare International, along with O'Grady Payton International. So hello, Shireen. Should we be worried of employer abandonment due to recent retrogression? No. No. And that's what we'll say about that. And Dave's saying, I am graduating nursing school June 2025. When is a good time to apply? It's always a good time to apply. And actually, right now during retrogression, be sure to tune into our immigration shows that we have. It's actually coming up in 2 weeks to ask our immigration lawyers these questions. it's a good time to apply because you've got to get your place in line. The faster you get your place in line to get an EB3 visa, that's the faster you'll be able to get here. So just keep that in mind. Apply now, amnhealthcare.com/international. Let's have another quiz. Okay, another quiz. So audience, get ready, get set. I have a few questions here, and then we'll get our panel to give us the correct one. Which national anthem is commonly sung during 4th of July celebrations? The blank Spangled Banner. Is it A, the Sun Spangled Banner, B, the Independence Spangled Banner, C, the Star Spangled Banner, or D, the Liberty Spangled Banner? Shireen is saying letter C. Jessica is saying letter A. We're getting a little bit of mixed signals here. We have Donna is saying D, Liberty. We have Jason saying C, Star. Tamara is saying C, Star. Panel, what's the answer here?
Letter C.
C, the Star Spangled Banner. That is correct. When you get here, you'll learn it, and you can always see football games, and we always sing it at the very beginning. So the Star Spangled Banner, you put your hand on your heart, right? That's how that's how we do it. And as the fireworks are going off, we're singing. Of course, Miley Cyrus joins in Party in the USA, and that's just part of the fun too. Well done. Next question. I think we have one more question here for the quiz. Who has the biggest signature on the Declaration of Independence? Is it A, Abraham Clark, B, William Ellery, C, Samuel Adams, or D, John Hancock? So the Declaration of Independence, that's the document that our founding fathers wrote declaring our independence from Great Britain. Has lots of signatures down at the bottom, but there's one signature that really stands out. Whose signature is that? So we have your Yermolov is saying D, John Hancock. Yes, and we have Shireen who is saying D, John Hancock. Come on, audience, let's get some more answers in here. Oh, okay, here they come. They're flowing. Now they're flowing. So we have Chris who's saying D. Salima is saying D. Panel, what's the answer?
D.
That's exactly right. Well done. That one was a little harder. So yes, actually that has become a phrase in the United States. Anytime that you want to sign a document that someone's asking you to sign something, they'll say, give me your John Hancock. That's how big this signature is. And it really like stands out whenever you're looking at the Declaration of Independence there. Great job, audience. Great job, everybody. Thank you so much for playing. Really, really good time. So back to the questions here. Nikki, now, Jeroni, does your city, have you heard of any fun things going on that the city or the community is doing for the 4th of July? What are your plans?
Yeah, they're doing that big parade that I was talking about. I think they're bringing in some horses, North Dakotan style. They're very rooted with their culture and traditions here, so it's gonna be great. And we have a lot of parks, so people will be coming into the park, do some picnics and parties, get-togethers, all of that.
What a beautiful place right there. That is just gorgeous.
Yeah, it is.
Absolutely. Bismarck is beautiful.
That's the
Nikki,
Missouri
what goes
River.
on? Yeah. What goes on? You were saying San Diego beach volleyball. Are there any special traditions that the city does for 4th of July?
Obviously fireworks, but we already talked about that. Other than that, I feel like there's always a marathon. There's always like some kind of like run the day off, but I think San Diego is also very known for their bars. So I'm sure there's going to be not put on by the city, but there's like definitely planned pub crawls that people do.
That's a fun party right there.
Yeah, that is.
Getting crazy. That's part of it.
Yes, for sure.
Was that a house party?
That was a house party. Yeah, that was at my sister's place with all of our friends, and then I was on top of one of my friends. Was the one with the cast because unfortunately, one 4th of July, 2 years ago, I had a cast and couldn't go to the beach. So that's kind of like what I ended up doing. So I wasn't allowed to go to the beach because I just had surgery on my hand. So we ended up just doing pub crawl and then throwing a party.
Pub crawl. That's when you go with your friends from bar to bar, have a drink, go to the next one, and the drinks can be red and blue. Gets really, really fun. So, Mark, does your family have any traditions that you do for the 4th of July?
We don't. Usually, we just because we don't have really a family here. So, what we do is we have like a community a group here that we treat like as a family. But so most of the time, we just talk like who will be hosting today. Like we did last year, one of our neighbors was the one who hosted. So this year, maybe I don't know, because we in our community we have also this tradition that there's a fireworks display. And the city of Tampa, they do the river fireworks, and all the bars there are also have a party. But for us, what we do is, because we know that a lot of people get you know drinks and have a party time, so we try to do it more in our house. So maybe this year we're gonna do is just maybe going to a house here in our community. We haven't decided yet who will be the one hosting it, and you know do the typical Filipino thing, the karaoke and fireworks and party drinking, the typical July 4th stuff.
Typical July 4th celebration. Here in my community, we do what we call a potluck, which is where everyone comes and everybody brings a different dish. And yeah, this me and my husband and my friends. We always have a good time. I told my dog Chanel, she was drank too much that day, obviously. So we always have a good time here with the dogs, with the family, with the fun. That's the beach in San Diego right there. People just have a really great time. Look at all the red, white, and blue. And it's always just a really, really fun time. So, of course, if you want to live your American dream, join this party here. Make sure that you go to amnhealthcare.com/apply. And we're right here to guide you through the entire process. Thank you so much to our panel. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us and for sharing your stories. We really, really appreciated it. And it's always a good time. So let's move on now. It is time for our clinical corner with Holly. Holly, what you got for us today?
Hi, Lucy. Well, for the clinical corner today, I'll just quickly tell you my name is Holly Musselwhite. I am the Senior Clinical Manager with AMN International, and happy Friday. Today, we're going to explore a little bit about how clinicians need to be aware of local English differences and how to acquire those a little bit faster. So my recommendation is to practice immersion, meaning just eat, sleep, and breathe English from the moment you get here. Try not to speak anything else. You'll learn it faster. Yeah, you may make a couple mistakes, but overall, you're going to do great. So the other thing I want to do, just to kind of make it a little fun, is give you some examples. So when we do this, I'm going to also have some things that I ask you guys in the audience to participate, just like we've been doing throughout the show. So let's look at this idiom example. And idioms are like an informal language. So we use words and phrases in local places, and it may be different throughout the US as well, but we use those when we're talking, and sometimes we don't even realize it, and you may be going, huh? So here's a great one. Bob had been under the weather for 3 days. Usually when he's out of sorts, he catches 40 winks and he's on the mend quickly. Today, he's alive and kicking after going under the knife to remove his appendix and gallbladder. So if you think about what your patients might say to you, or even what other clinical colleagues might say, is it possible they may use some of these idioms in conversation with you? Absolutely. And will you know what they really mean? And if you don't, what will you do about that? Remember, as clinicians, we need to be able to understand exactly what our patient is describing to us, because it may be an important symptom or experience that affects what we're going to do for their care. So for this one, just be thinking for a minute about what under the weather might mean, or what out of sorts might mean. 40 winks. Anybody got some ideas on some of these that you want to put in the chat? Like, what do you think catching 40 winks means? Anybody got an idea? Have you ever caught 40 winks? I have, but it's usually not enough. All right, we'll let you put some comments in there. Going under the knife, maybe you can pick that up kind of quickly. If you're a clinician, you might know what that means, or you might hear something similar. When you look at these, do you also maybe think of some other idioms that are local to you? So for instance, I've spoken to people who live and work in the UK, and they might say, oh, I'm really knackered. What does that mean? Well, my understanding, right or wrong, is it means you're exhausted, like physically totally wiped out. So have you ever heard that expression before? We don't use that one here much, but every place is going to have that, plus they're going to have accents and things like that. So let's go to the example of what it might mean in a more formal English. Bob had been feeling ill for 3 days. Usually when he's unwell, he's able to rest, that's 40 winks, by the way, and recover quickly. Today, he is healthy after undergoing surgery to remove his appendix and gallbladder. Now, that one makes a lot more sense to those of you who, when you were looking at the first one, you're kind of scratching your head going, what does that really mean? And what if somebody started using these things? What would I do? So that's the other thing. If you want to pop in the comments and tell me, what do you do when somebody says something, even now in your own country of practice, and you're not quite sure what they mean? Do you just ignore it and hope that eventually it'll be clarified? Do you stop and ask them, can you rephrase that? Or can you maybe tell me in different words what you're trying to say? And there's nothing wrong with that. But sometimes when people are here and they're getting used to speaking English with locals, they're very afraid of being judged. I think the best way to think of it is that it's important to have clarity for safety. We also talk about something else, being clear is being kind. A lot of times we use that for feedback. But if you're clear and someone that's speaking with you is not, that could really create some misunderstandings that could potentially affect the patient's safety and potentially affect how you're able to practice your profession. So I don't know if we have time for anything else, but I do want to tell you that in my experience, we have nurses who have very similar objects in clinical practice that here we may call one thing, and where you're working now, it's called something else. Something as simple as what you call gauze, I may call a 4x4. So a little white plain 4x4, check it out. Y'all know what that is, but you know what it's called where you work. What if it's called something different here? Many times I might say to a colleague, go get me a pack of 4x4s. If you've never heard it phrased that way and you look at me with puzzlement, I may not know why you're puzzled. So you're going to have to say something like, do you mean gauze? Or is there another term for that? And get that clarity. That's how we're safe. So I think I have another minute to finish this up. We could talk about maybe one or two more objects. And this time in the comments, I want you to tell me what something is called in your country of practice or in your hospital. So let's pop up another image, if you will. Okay, everybody, what is this? What's it called where you work? Go ahead and pop in the comments really quickly. Anybody? I'm going to tell you what I call it. I call it a stretcher. So someone in the transportation department may receive a phone call from me that says, hi, Joe, I need you to bring a stretcher to room 402 to pick up a patient. Rhonda says it's called a trolley where she is. Some of the rest of you are saying, yeah, that's a stretcher. So if Rhonda happens to call a department and say, hi, I'm going to bring Mr. Joe Smith down on a trolley. When I hear the word trolley, I think of this. It looks like a little miniature type of train or vehicle that I put a bunch of people in and they tour around a city. That's what I think of as a trolley. So if you use that word here, Rhonda, somebody might go, what's a trolley? I don't think she means that. So these are things that could trip you up, not in a huge way, but it's why we want to educate you about the potential for these differences. So you understand, sometimes people may say, are you having a challenge with English? And what they really mean is, are you having a challenge with that local dialect and those words that may be used a little differently? Next time on the Clinical Corner, we're actually going to talk a little more about this, but about clinical jargon. And on that note, I'm going to finish up today's Clinical Corner. Hope everyone has a great weekend. Thanks for signing on.
Hey, Holly, quick question for you. What are you doing for the 4th of July? She's in Tennessee. In Tennessee.
I am.
What are you doing?
So I live in a more rural area. And so we're on a big piece of property and we will be putting off our own fireworks show. And I'm really looking forward to it. So we've already put in a big order. We'll have a cookout and it's my dad's birthday is the next day. So we're going to celebrate his birthday and we're going to have some good food, and we have some friends coming over and flying in even. So it's just going to be good family time and a great fireworks show. And hopefully the weather is still nice. It's kind of hot up here lately, but at night it's not so bad. I just have to wear my mosquito bracelet because they're out in force.
Yeah, that's the South, right? The Southeast United States. You get those mosquitoes, but it's also that warm weather. It's right in the middle of summer, everyone. So that's the beauty of the 4th of July. As you can see, there's pools and beaches, and you're outside and having a really great time. Holly, thank you so much again for your Clinical Corner tips. You'll be back in a couple of weeks. Every single show, you'll be able to see Holly and get more tips on how to work in the United States and also how to make you successful in your clinical adventure. Well, now we're at the end of our show. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. Let's take a look at our future shows that I just mentioned. We have an upcoming show on July the 12th, our immigration Q&A. Our lawyers are going to be on hand, ready to go to answer your questions. We know retrogression is happening right now. There's a lot going on in the immigration space in the United States. So this is your chance to ask our lawyers your questions. Also, don't forget about our AMN Academy every Monday, 6 a.m. California time. Make sure that you check out on the internet exactly what your time is that it begins. We always have iPass, the NCLEX class, the first Monday. We have an English class with 9.09ers on the second Monday and the fourth Monday of every single month. And of course, Dr. Paul from Aspire RN also does an NCLEX class, all to prepare you for your journey, all completely free. These are experts in the space. So take advantage of watching this show, learning from them, pass your exams, and then you can come to the United States and enjoy your American dream. Enjoy the 4th of July. Of course, amnhealthcare.com/international. Apply now. We are the only company that has both direct hire and staffing. We have locations anywhere you want to go. We have a job for you. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us. Happy 4th of July. And as we always say, onwards and upwards. Take care, everyone.